Cars, a copyrighted program created by Rio Grande.
San Francisco Police calling all cars. Attention all cars to broadcast 245 regarding a holdup. There were two bandits. Number one described as 5 feet 10 inches, weight about 150 pounds. Number two described as blonde, 5 feet 11 inches, weight 160 pounds. These men just held up a Safeway store on Divisadero Street. Approach with caution, they are armed and dangerous. That's all. Rosenquist.
What would you think, friends, of a battleship powered by an outboard motor? Ridiculous, isn't it? And yet some motorists practically duplicate it when they underpower their cars with anemic gasoline and merely go through the motions of protecting their investments with flabby, afraid-to-fight-back motor oil. What gasoline of maximum performance powers more police cars, ambulances, fire engines, and other emergency equipment wherever it is sold than any other brand?
Rio Grande cracked.
What motor fuel is also the choice of an overwhelmingly large number of California state and federal government officials to power their front-line automotive equipment?
Rio Grande cracked.
Right both times, and tens of thousands of motorists likewise agree that Rio Grande cracked is the longer mileage gasoline that gives them more powerful, more speedful performance, quicker on the takeoff, unfailing acceleration, and smoother operation at any rate of speed. In short, police car performance. Get yours from now on, friends. When you leave the house for work in the morning, stop at the red and white Rio Grande station in your neighborhood and enjoy police car performance in your own car. Rio Grande is indebted to the law enforcement officers of the West, whose enthusiastic cooperation in making all confidential files available make these programs possible. Tonight, we salute San Francisco and their able sheriff, Dan Murphy, who will speak to you from KSFO.
It is an acknowledged fact that generally too much of certain types of reading and motion pictures tending to paint a glamorous picture of the daring of gang life and kindred subject herald wind. Those who commit crime pay a price beyond computation. There is not enough money to lighten the empty hours, days, weeks, and months for the loved ones awaiting the return of a prison-marked man. One might speculate as to whether or not such thoughts would have deterred the men whose story we are about to hear. Nevertheless, they found, as every criminal eventually finds, that crime is a losing proposition.
It is a bitterly cold San Francisco night in December of 1936. An automobile containing two men pulls into the driveway of an oil station at 10th and Mission Street.
All right, get back into that station, buddy. This is a stick-up.
Come on, fellas, nothing to it.
Now open that cash register and then get busy on the floor safe.
Come on, quit shaking and get going. We ain't got all night.
Yeah, take it easy, kid. When you get to the top of that safe, just don't make no noise and stay where you are, see?
Yeah.
Then you won't get hurt.
All right, Mud, come on, hand over that there door.
And remember what I told you. 140 move and I'll blast you, get me? Come on, kid, let's go.
Within 20 minutes of this first hold-up, two other oil stations fall prey to this bold pair of bandits. And then for 3 long months, an amazing series of similar crimes are reported almost weekly to the Bay City Police. Inspectors Raymond Doherty and William Hanson, who are in charge of the investigation, are discussing the case when suddenly the police radio flashes a message.
San Francisco Police calling car 142, car 142. A holdup at 2900 Fulton Street. A Safeway store held up at 2900 Fulton Street.
Another robbery, eh? You suppose this is the work of those two birds we've just been talking about, Dorothy?
Well, if it is, those fellows are getting away with murder.
You said it. They've pulled at least 12 holdups that we know about in the last 3 months.
Yeah, and who knows how many more.
Well, if this is their 13th, let's hope their luck breaks with this one and ours begins.
Calling all cars, attention all cars. Be on the lookout for a stolen Hupmobile sedan. License number 4 Chicago 8293. 4 Chicago 8293. Occupants are 2 men, one described as tall and blond, the other short and stocky. These men just held up a Safeway store at 2900 Fulton Street. Exercise caution in apprehending these men, as both are armed. That's all.
That's them, all right.
Come on, let's go. Get the car. I'm going to nab those 2 birds if it's the last thing I ever do.
Well, if that stolen Hup sedan hasn't already been picked up by some of the boys, we ought to find it somewhere in the vicinity of the robbery.
Yeah, that seems to be their system. They generally leave their getaway car within a few blocks of the place they figure on sticking up.
You just get a line on that car there, Hanson, we'd have something to work on. As it is, we haven't got a single lead except a vague description of what they look like.
Oh, their luck can't hold. The only reason we haven't caught up with them so far is because they don't seem to have any past record.
Yeah, I know.
Not a doggone one of the victims could identify a picture that even remotely resembled them when we had him look through a stack of mug pictures the other day.
Yeah.
And we showed him the pictures of every known hold-up man that's been released from a California penitentiary for the last 5 years.
Funny how they stick to oil stations, cigar stores, and markets.
Well, they probably figure those places are the easiest pickings.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, they haven't done so bad either. They've netted nearly $1,000 in 3 months.
Well, they won't think that so much when they're sitting up there in the pen thinking back over it.
Come to think of it, this is their first daytime job, isn't it?
Yeah. All the others have been between 8 and 11 at night.
I'm just wondering if there isn't some... Say, Doherty.
Yeah?
That Hup sedan parked over there by the curb.
Huh?
I think that's the car we're looking for.
Can you see the license plate?
Wait a minute. 4C8293, that's the baby.
I'll pull over and park ahead of it a little ways.
And keep your fingers crossed. With any kind of a break, we ought to get a lead out of this.
Well, unless they had their own car planted somewhere around here, they can't be very far away. Hasn't been over 20 minutes since the holdup.
Look, that car's right in front of an apartment house. Maybe some of the people inside might have seen who left it there.
Well, there's nothing like finding out.
Come on, then. We'll try the manager's apartment first.
And I'm still keeping my fingers crossed.
Yes?
I'm sorry to disturb you, lady. We're police officers.
Oh, police officer.
No, there's nothing to be alarmed about. We're merely trying to get a little information.
Oh, I see.
There's a Hupmobile sedan parked out in front there. I wonder if by any chance you might have seen who left it.
Hupmobile sedan?
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not much good at telling one type of car from another. But I'll come out and take a look at it if you want to point it out to me.
I'd appreciate it if you would. There, that's the car.
I'm afraid I can't help you any. As far as I know, I've never seen the car before in my life.
I was afraid of that.
Well, thanks just the same, lady. Do you mind if we use your phone?
Oh, no, not at all.
You see, that car's been stolen, and I want to report that it's been located.
Stolen? Why, I just happened to think.
Yes?
I was outside just a few minutes before you rang the bell. That car wasn't parked there then.
It wasn't?
No. There was a small tan coupe standing there. I don't know what make of car it was.
And you didn't see who left it?
No. All I know is that I saw the coupe not over 5 or 6 minutes ago.
Well, Dorothy, there's our first lead.
Two weeks went by, during which time the bandits struck again on 3 different occasions. But the police had not yet been able to trace the small tan coupe. And then, on the evening of March 22nd, Howard Mao and another attendant were on duty in a Safeway store at 301 Divisadero Street when 2 men walked in. Disregarding the presence of several customers, the smaller of the 2 came directly to the grocery counter where Mao was standing.
Come on. Keep your hands where I can see him, buddy. This is a stick-up.
Stick-up? What are you talking about?
You heard what I said. Keep that trap of yours shut and hand over the dough. All you got in the place.
Now, listen, mister, you can't
Shut
get
up,
away
I
with
tell
it.
you. One more peep out of you, and it's going to be just too bad. Now, shell out the check.
Oh, tough guy, huh? Why, you give me that gun. I'll show you what Why, you dirty...
Shut up, shut up! Your folks pipe down and get over there in the back of the store, or you'll see some more shooting.
Trying to grab my gun, did you, wise guy? Well, maybe that'll teach you to behave. Hey, you. You over there behind the butcher counter. Come out here and get this dough for me if you don't want to get some of the same medicine.
Where'd you plug 'em, Mulder?
I don't know, in the belly, I guess. Who cares?
Yeah, well, tell that butcher to step on it. We got to scram out of here.
Come on, you. Come on. Hurry up with that dough. I'd just as soon lay you out beside this other mug, see?
You people in the back there, stay where you are for a good 5 minutes, see? And no funny business, you get me?
Okay, let's beat it, kid. I got the bankroll.
With Howard Mao lying in the house hut, seriously wounded, the police continue their search for the two bandits with renewed vigor. And then, 4 nights later, comes the first really important lead.
Harrisburg Police Station.
This the desk, Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Well, listen. There's 3 men sitting in a booth here looking at an automatic pistol. I thought I'd better call and tell you about it.
Where is this place you're telling me about?
It's a beer parlor at 1400 Eddy Street.
Is that where you're calling from?
Yeah.
All right, we'll send someone over to see about it. This is the place, all right. I suppose we'll have to search everybody in the place to find that gun.
That's all right by me.
Maybe the bartender knows something about it.
Yeah.
Hey, George, come here a minute, will you?
Hello, boys. What'll it be?
Has anybody in here been flashing a gun around?
Not that I know of, no.
I see. Well, we'll just have to search everybody, that's all.
Well, what makes you think that...
A little bird told us.
Oh.
All right, folks, pay attention here a minute. Which one of you's got a gun on him?
All right, you might as well answer up because we're going to find it anyway.
All right, if you don't want to tell us, line up there against the wall, all of you.
I'll start at the other end. We'll search these people.
Uh-oh. What's this? So you're the lad who's packing a gun, are you? What's your name?
Elmer Ballard.
Don't you know there's a law against carrying concealed weapons, Elmer?
Yeah, so what?
So you'll just come on down to the station with us till we get a chance to find out something about you.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, look, coppers, what's the beef? This guy wasn't doing no harm. Just showing us his gun was all.
Who are you, a friend of Elmer's?
Yeah, in a way. I've known him from in here.
Well, I'd keep my mouth shut if I were you, unless you want to come along, too.
Oh, all right.
Okay, Elmer, go out and get in the car.
Always a bunch of lousy coppers.
Say, Al.
Yeah.
As soon as them cops drive away, come on outside. I think I know who tipped them.
Yeah?
Yeah. See that guy sitting up there at the bar? The guy was in the telephone booth a little while ago.
You mean you think he's the one who tipped him?
Well, that telephone booth ain't his office.
Yeah?
Well, wait here till he comes out. Then I'm going to show him what I do with still pigeons like him.
Hey, quiet. Here he comes now.
Yeah. Hey, listen, wise guy.
Yeah?
You tipped them bulls about Elmer having a gun, didn't you?
Who says I did?
I do. And maybe this will teach you to be smart after this. Hey.
Come on, what's the idea?
Hey, Walter, let me get in a shock at this guy, will you?
Say, Al, you hit him kind of hard, didn't you?
Gosh, his head's bleeding, ain't it? But I didn't do that with my fist. See, it's where his head hit the sidewalk.
Well, anyway, looks like a gunner to me. So long, Al. I'll be seeing you.
On the arrival of the ambulance, the man who had been beaten was pronounced dead. Al Levere was placed under arrest, but his companion had disappeared. A few days later, it was discovered that the bullet that had wounded Howard Mao had been fired from the gun found on Elmer Ballard. Immediately, Inspector Butts and Corporal Engler, who had taken over the investigation, went up to the city prison to question the two prisoners.
I don't know how you feel about it, Engler, but I think these two are the fellows we want for all those holdups.
Well, we ought to know something in a minute. The guards are bringing them over here now.
Hello, Ballard. You, Levere, sit down, won't you? I want to have a little talk with you.
Whatever you say, copper, you're the boss.
You've got a pretty serious charge hanging over your head, Levere. Don't you think it'd be wiser if you decided to tell us the truth?
Now, look, I have been telling you the truth, see? This guy, Walter Misak, was calling us vile names.
Are you
see, and-
still sure you don't know Walter's last name?
Now, listen, Inspector Butts, if I knew his last name was, I'd only be too glad to tell you, but I don't know it.
What about you, Ballard?
I only know him as Walter, same as Allie. I never heard anybody call him anything else.
You see, it's just like I told you at first. This guy was calling us names, and Walter stepped in and let him have it, see? Then I took up where he left off.
Where'd you fellas meet this Walter?
In a beer parlor. He's been hanging around there for a couple of months. Spent quite a bit of money, too.
He did, eh?
Yeah.
Where'd he get it, do you know?
It wasn't none of our business where he got it.
You don't happen to know what he did for a living, do you?
No, fact is, I never knew Walter to do any work.
And you don't know where he lived?
He never told anybody around there that I know of.
You don't know either, Ballard?
No?
Did either of you ever see him with an automobile?
Quite a car, all right. It's a Chrysler sedan with 1936 license plate.
36 plates, eh?
Yeah, he said the new ones was coming down from Sacramento.
I see. Do you know where he kept this car?
No, but I know the service station where he always buys his gas. Maybe they can tell you something there. Hey, give me a pencil and I'll write it down on a piece of paper for you. Here, address at me.
Okay. Sure you boys don't know anything more about this fellow than you're telling me?
I don't know nothing about him at all.
All right. We'll be in to see you again in a day or so.
Don't bother.
So long, boys, and we'll be...
This is the filling station the Bureau wrote down.
Well, let's hope we'll be able to get some kind of a line on this fellow Walter that we could follow up.
Good afternoon. Fill your tank, sir?
No, thanks. We're just looking for a little information.
Yes, sir.
Do you know a man by the name of Walter who owns a Chrysler sedan?
Oh, Walter?
That's his given name, I understand. We don't know what his last name is.
Why, I think I know the man you mean. You are trying to locate him, are you?
That's about the size of it. We'd appreciate any information you can give us.
Well, I can't think of his last name myself offhand, but I think I have it in my file somewhere.
And see if you can find the license number of his car while you're at it.
In just a moment, sir.
Thanks.
This may be just the break we're looking for.
Well, I hope so, Engler.
You know, I've got a hunch this fellow will turn out to be one of those two bandits just as sure as the world.
Are your hunches usually any good?
Well, I think this one's going to be.
Fine.
Here you are, sir. This card ought to give you the information you want.
Well, thanks a lot. Walter Grannis, 5 feet, 6 inches tall, weight 150 pounds.
Hey, that tallies exactly with our description of the shorter of the two bandits. We're on the right trail now, no mistake.
The car's registered to 1622 Clay Street.
Yeah, that's right. I've got it all copied down here.
And let's get on over to that address.
Is there anything else I can do, sir?
No, that's fine, and thanks a lot, old man.
9 o'clock already, and that apartment's dark as a tomb.
Yeah?
Would be just our luck not to find anybody home when we got here.
Well, this business of staking out in cold weather is part of the fun of being a police officer.
If this fellow Grannis doesn't show up pretty soon, I'm going to send somebody for an overcoat. Well, we've been parked out here since 4 o'clock.
You know, Engler, I've been thinking about that story Ballard told us.
You mean about having bought the gun they found on him from Walter Grannis?
Yeah. If he only answered the description of the taller bandit, I'd say the man was merely lying to save his hide, but as it is, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I want to believe that he's telling the truth, partly for his own sake, and partly because his story definitely pins the Mao shooting on this man Grannis.
Anyway, I think the lead we got from that service station out
Hey,
there.
hold on a minute. Wait. I think those people are going into the apartment house we're watching.
Yeah, you're right. The woman and a couple of children.
Come on, Engler. Here's where we go to work. Just a moment, please, if you don't mind. We'd like to ask you a few questions.
Well, what is it?
We'd like to know if a man named Walter Grannis lives here.
Why, no, he doesn't.
Are you a relative of his?
I'm his sister.
Oh, I see. Do you know where we can find him?
No, I don't. He moves around quite a lot. I don't see much of him. What do you want with him?
We're from the police department, lady.
Police? Why,
We're investigating a crime of a very serious nature, so I want to tell you right now that it'll be best all around if you tell us nothing but the truth.
Well, I'm Walter Grannis's ex-wife.
Oh, I see.
We've been separated for about 7 years.
And you see he doesn't come around here very often.
I was mistaken about that, officer. He generally drops in about twice a week.
But you still insist that you don't know where he lives.
No, I don't. Really, officer, that's the truth. But I think he keeps his car in a garage in the Western Addition, near Divisadero Street somewhere. So he probably lives close by.
When do you expect him to come around here again?
Well, he said he'd be here tomorrow.
Yeah?
He's waiting for his new license plate from Sacramento, and they'll be coming to this address.
Well, I want to get in touch with him right away. There was a murder committed in a street brawl, and...
Oh, no, not a murder.
Now, don't worry, lady. Grannis isn't in any way implicated. We merely want him for a witness, that's all.
Oh.
Word is immediately broadcast describing the Chrysler sedan belonging to Grannis, along with the license number. And the following morning, officers, acting on the information supplied by the bandit's ex-wife, locate the car in the Grove Street garage. Learning from the attendant the name of the apartment house where their man can be found, Engler and Inspector Hanson waste no time in getting there. Oh, there's no sense in fooling with this door any longer, Inspector. Besides that double lock already on there, there's this padlock.
I think the owner lives in the building. Maybe we can get the keys from him.
Now, what's all this noise going on up here?
Are you the owner of this building?
Yes. What of it?
Well, you're just the man we want to see.
Well, I wish I hadn't if you don't stop that racket. I can hear you clear down on the first floor. What are you trying to do? Break into that room?
That's about the size of it. We're police officers.
I don't care who you are. That doesn't give you any call to go around smashing people's doors.
Keep your shirt on, mister. We're not smashing any doors. And we'd appreciate it if you'd open up this apartment for us.
I'll do nothing of the kind. Besides, I haven't got the keys to that apartment. The only ones there are belong to the tenant.
Well, it might interest you to know that this tenant is wanted on a charge of robbery.
Well, it doesn't interest me. I don't know anything about the man who lives here and care less.
Does that mean you don't intend to cooperate with us?
You bet it does. Furthermore, I don't want cops hanging around my apartment house. So
I'd think again if I were you, mister.
You can't threaten me.
I have no intention of threatening you. I merely want to warn you that if you refuse to cooperate, we'll simply have to enter these rooms by force, that's all.
You can't do this. You got the warrant. I'm going to call your headquarters and report you.
Nice fella. He sure worked himself into a stew, didn't he?
Oh, well, you've got to expect to meet up with people like that sometimes. But we've got to get into this apartment.
I noticed a paint shop down the street when we came up here. They've most likely got a ladder that'll reach 3 stories. We can climb in from the outside.
Hey, that's an idea. Go on over there and see what you can do, Engler.
I'll be right back.
There, that does it. Yeah, that ladder idea of yours was a burst of genius, Engler.
Well, look out for your head climbing over the sill there.
Hey, let's see what we can find.
Doesn't keep this apartment of his very clean, does he?
You'd never mistake it for a lady's boudoir, if that's what you mean.
Well, I'll begin on these bureau drawers.
Find anything?
No, nothing yet. Just the usual odds and ends.
Keep on looking while I take a glance through this closet over here.
This dresser is a mess. Grannis must have... Uh-oh.
What is it?
Hey, look here, Inspector.
Well, a 25 caliber automatic pistol and a box of 32 caliber shells, huh?
Yeah, that box of shells makes it look like Ballard's story about buying the gun might be true at that.
And now inquiries in the neighborhood where Grannis had lived began to yield information. It was learned that he had been keeping company with a girl whose sister had recently moved to San Mateo. Therefore, Corporal Engler, Inspector Schusted, Fred Butts, and William Hanson, and Special Officer Jimmy Britt of the National Automobile Theft Club drove to that city where, by careful search, they located the woman they now wanted as an important link in their chain of evidence.
Are you Miss Travers?
Yes.
We're officers from the San Francisco Police Department. We'd like you to give us a little information, if you will.
Certainly. Won't you come in?
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, I rather thought that you might come here.
You did? Why was that?
Well, first, may I ask what kind of information you're looking for?
Well, we're trying to locate a man named Grannis. Walter Grannis.
Oh, that's the answer I expected. You see, he came down here yesterday with my sister.
Oh, yeah? Go on.
She told me the police were looking for them, that they were making a getaway and going to Los Angeles.
Going to Los Angeles, huh?
Yes.
Do you think they went on down the coast from here?
No, because Walter didn't have his own car. He had one that he'd borrowed from a friend of his to use for the day.
I see. But did he say what this friend's name was?
Well, he referred to him as Elmer, I believe. He didn't mention any last name.
And do you suppose he meant Elmer Ballard, Inspector?
Oh, I don't see how it could be. Ballard's been in jail now for weeks. Did you get a chance to see the car Grannis was driving, Miss Travers?
Why, yes, I did.
Oh, could you describe it?
It was a tan Chrysler Coupe, as I remember.
Tan Coupe. Dollars to donuts, that's the car that apartment house manager told you about 3 weeks ago, Inspector.
Well, to be honest with you, gentlemen, I'm terribly worried about my sister Ethel. She's going around in pretty bad company.
I'll agree with you there, Miss Travers.
I don't think Ethel's done anything that's really against the law yet. So when you arrest Walter, will you please try to keep her away from being involved as much as you can?
Well, we'll do everything in our power in that respect, Miss Travers, I assure you. But now we've got to be getting back to the city. Thank you very kindly for your cooperation.
Perfectly all right.
Bye.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Well, that's a darn nice girl. Too bad her family has to be bothered with a guy like Grannis.
Well, the thing to do now is to find out who this fellow Elmer is.
Nothing hard about that.
What do you mean, nothing hard about it, Britt?
Remember when you had me go through the records to find out who the legal owner of Grannis's car was?
Sure. What's that got to do with it?
Well, I checked with the owner in regard to Grannis's references, and I found out who they were.
So what?
So we don't have to look any further to find out Elmer's identity. I know who he is. He's Elmer Mohegan, who signed as a reference for Grannis when he bought the car.
Well, have you got Mohegan's address there?
Oh, I bet it's somewhere. 19th and Caps.
How do you do? Is Mr. Mohegan at home?
Are you friends of his?
Why, yes.
Well, he isn't home right now. He just went out with some other people to buy some crabs. They're going to have a chipino.
Oh, I see.
I don't believe they'll be gone very long. Would you like to come in and wait?
No, thanks. We're really having the time right now, but we'll be back later. We want to see him about a job.
Oh, well, that's fine. Come back whenever you're ready. I'm sure Elmer will be glad to see you.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
That's perfectly all right.
Now, listen, boys.
Yeah.
We've got 2 cars here. We'll split up into 2 parties. Drive each car about a half a block from the house, one up the street and the other down. Parked that way, Elmer will be right between us when he drives in, and besides, we'll have a clear view of who arrives and enters the house.
Okay.
Now, let's get going. Engler, you stay with me.
Yes, sir.
And be careful, boys. These boys are tough. How long have we been waiting now, Engler?
Well, just half hour, Inspector.
It's taken him a deuce of a while to buy those crabs.
Yeah. Say, here comes a Chrysler coupe now, just rounding that corner.
Yep, that's it, all right.
There's 4 of them in there. A man and a woman in the front and a man and a woman in the rumble seat.
All right, boys, pull in behind them. The other car will head them off from the front. Put up your hands and get out of that car.
Hey, what is this you mugs is trying to pull anyhow?
Now, take it easy, Granite. And don't any of you be silly enough to try to reach for a gun.
Say, what's the big idea, coppers? We ain't done nothing.
Frisk 'em good, boys, and then slip the cuffs on them while I talk to the woman.
You ain't got nothing on Walter.
No? What do you know about what Walter's been doing?
None of your business.
Oh, so you're going to take that attitude, are you? What's your name?
I don't know.
Where do you live?
I don't know.
Well, maybe you think you could talk better down at headquarters. Is that it?
I don't know.
Oh, I know who you are, Ethel. I told your sister I'd try to give you a break, but I can't do anything for you if you're going to act this way.
I don't want no breaks from you, copper.
All right. It's up to you.
Nuts.
You can take this girl down to the station with the men, boys.
Right.
All right, boys, let's get going.
Say, you coppers just won't give a guy a break, will you?
You got your break, Grannis, when Howard Mao was lucky enough not to die from that bullet you shot into his stomach. That's a better break than you deserve, and it's the only one you're going to get.
In just a moment, we will hear the concluding facts on this program. Your automobile is just as important a part of your daily life as those which figured in the apprehension of Grannis and Mohegan. Get police car performance with Rio Grande cracked gasoline. Safeguard all of its vital moving parts with Realube, the stronger, tougher motor oil that can't break down. On April 5th, Grannis and Mohegan pleaded guilty and were sentenced to Folsom Penitentiary on 2 counts of first-degree robbery with the recommendation that they be shown no leniency and that they never be granted parole.
San Francisco police calling all cars, attention all cars, a cancellation broadcast 245 regarding a holdup. Suspects in this case are now in custody. That's all. Rosenquist.
This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, bidding you good night for Rio Grande.